Good evening, everyone, friends and family across the multiverse. They call me the Living Codex, the stalwart shield of South Philly. My name is Sterling Spencer, also known as Ace Trainer Argent, welcoming you to the bar of the Blerds. But I am just one of your three hosts. Our next host, now I can get into it. I could go on and on and on about the man, but what I will say, last descendant of Yasuke, catch him watching anime, sipping some sake, sticking to the shadows because the man's a ninja. Talk to him, who it is.
Earth, give me your energy. Yo, what's up? It's your boy. It is I, hailing from the land of...
No, man, I hyped you up, dog. Don't call me here. I give me more energy. You're boring me.
He said what you're not going to do is passively introduce yourself for the season finale. What you're not going to do is come in here low key and then get hyped up.
I think I'm just going to... I thought I was just gonna an even keel for the whole season.
He tried. No.
That's what I was gonna do.
Little Slippy, if you don't get your act together right now.
That's all I was gonna do. Now it's just gonna be less, because it is I.
Oh, because you be like, I chose violence. I understand.
Y'all want to start over?
No, I'm gonna keep going. Josh is committed to this. I'm gonna be committed to this.
Personified. I don't have any other name but this to go by. It's Jayhawk.
All right. He chose
You're not
that.
going to give him a hawk?
I don't even know why. Why would I do that?
You guys did this to yourselves.
Okay, we did this. Okay. What? Okay.
There is one more person that needs to be introduced, and
yes.
I can't even begin to tell you all of the accolades that this man has. So I'm just gonna let him speak for himself. If you would talk to him for a quick second.
First of all, I have no accolades,
Deacon
but
Dan.
that's fine. It's big
that's rude.
Rodan coming out here with the headband as always.
Let's
go.
I am the comic book connoisseur, the sommelier of sci-fi and superheroes, here again to welcome you to another episode of the Blerd Bar, my BarFlyz. One more time.
Josh, do you do that? Do you do that because the end of King's Dead?
No, I do that because of when I saw Black Panther. Whenever you saw the Dora Milaje.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The end of King's Dead. Okay. Big damage.
Oh, is that what that's called?
That's what it's called.
It's
a reference. He made a reference. Josh, if you can move a little bit closer to your mic, I'm having a little difficulty hearing you.
Do I just need to project?
Maybe.
Some people have told me that you should start saying it with your chest, and I was like,
Antoine.
Constructive criticism hurts.
I'm gonna take this note. I'm gonna take this note.
But yo, it's the season finale.
Season finale.
We made it.
What? This is great. I guess we got to start the final booze news and reviews.
The final
booze news and reviews before booze news and reviews becomes its own thing.
That's true.
It's the final countdown.
Jam.
Becoming Blerd Bar Jukebox.
We might have to have a karaoke video one day.
I think that'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Oh, we could have the BarFlyz choose the songs,
and then we gotta sing them. Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right, you said it out loud, so it's recorded.
I just want to hear Josh sing. What is it? Into the Unknown. It's the jam.
Josh can sing it because I sing it too many times every day, so I'm fine.
But anyway, we're getting off track.
Yes, we are.
Booze news. This is wonderful. We're sitting. Also, wait, we got to stop and appreciate Dan just over there with.
Right. You know what it is? It's the season finale. I'm about to turn these lights off. It's making me nauseous a little bit. But, I figured I would come out swinging with the lights for a second, but I will not stay this way because
But thank you all, first and foremost. This has been a great season. So far, we're 2 for 2 for great seasons. I think that's great. Definitely open to some notes.
Not biased or anything, but if I had to rate myself, I'd give it definitely 2 out of 2 great seasons.
How many
2 out of 2
sake
great
gourds, Josh? How many sake gourds?
I mean, obviously it'd be like 15. Right? Like,
15. Heavy.
Can't go
15
wrong.
is heavy.
Heavy.
So starting the booze news and reviews, Josh, what you got, buddy?
So speaking of sake, I actually have this called Sake Moto. It is a premium Junmai sake.
I know what that means now.
It is, I saw it in the store and I was like, looks different. I like the little dragon on it and whatnot. Color scheme was cool. Honestly, I give it like a 2.5 though at its best. I've had it chilled. It's okay. It is a great table sake. Nothing to write home about at all. But it's alright.
At all.
At all. And then after that, because I'm pretty much done the bottle, I pretty much have Stream of Consciousness. You got Dragonberry,
Let's go!
Sweet Tea. Shout out to Pass Those Trash Vibes.
Just so everybody knows, we love Pass the Vibes. The podcast, the presents, we do.
Yeah. But
Still
that's
trash
what I
podcast,
have.
so
That's what I have.
I stand by that.
You guys want to talk about what you got, Sterling?
Yeah,
What
what's
you
up,
got?
Big? What's up, Big Dan? Oh, wait, me? It's on
Oh,
me.
what
Well,
Big
yeah,
Dan
'cause
got?
he's
I'm
changing
working on
his
my
lights.
lights. Yeah. Go ahead.
Big Dan done listening to The Weeknd for the next 2 hours.
For now.
I have Mason Noir's Bottoms Up.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
a Oregon white wine, and Mason Noir Wines is black owned, and we appreciate them.
You hear that? We appreciate you. I am currently
is chilled.
sipping on some watermelon and coriander vodka. Let me say that again. A watermelon and coriander vodka with a hint of apple juice. And for whatever reason, this is quite refreshing. I'm taking
Sounds
it easy
nice. Starfire.
just because, I still got daddy duty after all this is said and done. So
Coriander
Can't be
vodka. Did you try that by itself?
watermelon coriander. That's the actual flavor of the vodka. Watermelon and coriander.
And coriander. That is an interesting. Isn't coriander a spice?
It is, and it's quite delicious.
It's also Starfire.
That too, I guess.
What you giving drinking horns, Big Dan?
If I had to rate this, it's very it's not heavy. Maybe because I didn't make it heavy. Like I said, but I give it a 4. It's good.
That's nice.
I made it, so I feel,
Slightly biased.
slightly biased because I made it to the way that I would like it to be. So therefore, it's good.
Well, what would you give the watermelon coriander vodka? Would
Oh,
you give
that is a summer vibe. I would say that's still a 4. Like,
Okay.
and the bottle wasn't overly expensive, but yeah, I'll take a picture of that and
Cool.
pass that along.
Thank
Did
you.
you rate yours, Sterling?
Oh, this is a solid.
A solid second sip tells
It's
me.
a solid something.
I want to give this like a 3.7, but it's not because. But why? It's good. It's very easygoing. I'm not a huge fan of whites. The white wines.
Oh no! Talk about getting in post. Came out here swinging on the season finale. I didn't think it would be you, HR. I didn't think it would be
No.
you. That's interesting.
That's a
Wow.
big Dan vibe.
That's a clip and a half. Now we
Yeah.
can enhance it.
I don't really care for white wines.
I am not a fan of whites, and you heard it here first.
My name is
Wow.
Sterling, and I am not a fan of whites. Hi, Sterling.
Hi, Sterling.
It's like a 3.7. Let's talk about some reviews. Who's got news?
I feel like you got some reviews. Talk to us. What's going on, man?
Oh man,
Who's got news?
I got news.
What I am not a fan of, I'll tell you that much. Have you seen the news recently?
Yes.
That's funny.
Here's
All right,
my feelings.
Are you really gonna deep dive into that or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I got three bits of news. First thing, Godzilla gets a ride. The world's first permanent ride attraction, inspired by Godzilla, named Godzilla the Ride, or Daikaiju Chojo Kessen, a decisive battle of great monsters, will be set up at the Seibuen Amusement Park in Tokorozawa City, Saitama Prefecture, which will undergo a renewal and grand opening on May 19th, 2021. Guests are thrown into the middle of a fierce battle between Godzilla, King Ghidorah, and other giant monsters and enjoy the continuous thrill of being suddenly attacked. Never mind. It's too soon. It will always be too soon for the Black experience. Live action Gundam.
I was like, is he going to do it? He's not going to do it.
Live action Gundam movie. If you've been following us on our socials, we kind of Dan made a slight post on this. Was it Dan or Sterling? I think it was Dan.
Probably Dan.
I think it was you.
The Gundam
on our
movie?
Facebook.
It was
yeah,
Sterling.
On our live action. All right. So anywho,
It's probably Dan.
Netflix announced that they will be working with legendary and Jordan Roberts as a director to produce a live-action film based on the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. Legendary has done the Godzilla Kong Monsterverse franchise, as well as Pacific Rim, Dune, Enola Holmes, Man of Steel, and Jurassic World.
Those last ones are like, okay.
Jordan VR directed Kong Skull Island. My only question here is like what's the story? Because the Gundam franchise, in my opinion, is just too huge to do like one good movie. You know, if you're making a movie of one of the previous series, and then if you're doing a new storyline, the pacing has to be like tack sharp. Not to mention, can we believe live action characters in the Gundam universe? Like, for example, Char, but live action, or Amuro, but live action. Right?
Master Asia.
Right, it's just. And then, is it even possible to ground the feature in realism, like what Nolan did for Batman, or obviously the MCU? All that to say, as of right now, this doesn't necessarily sound like a good idea, but I have been wrong before.
But we've also seen Pacific Rim and the last 3 Transformer movies.
Some people love those. Some people love the Pacific
but
Rim,
they love them for the fact that they don't have substance. And I think as long as you're expecting no substance,
then you're fine.
You're fine.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel. That's at least how I feel about a lot of the stuff that's coming out with these adaptations.
That's real, and I think I agree with that. And what's crazy is just I guess the fanboy in me is just why would you disrespect this title?
Don't disrespect me like that, dog.
Yeah, it's wild.
Why would you choose to do this?
Last bit of news: solid gold Gundam statues, 1/100th scale models of RX-78, 2 Gundam, and Char's Custom Zaku 2, crafted from 24 karat gold. There's going to be a beam rifle version of the RX-78, and it's 7 inches tall, crafted from 1,000 grams of gold. This statue is limited to a run of 20 units and retails for about $240,777, including tax. Then there is a beam saber, version of the RX-78, which is 3.9 inches tall. That's because he's in a kneeling position, like a kneeling sword strike position. And it's crafted from 140 grams of gold. It will be limited to 10 units, and retails for only $36,116, including tax. And then finally, Char's Zaku is 6.9 inches tall and crafted from 1,000 grams of gold. It will be limited to a run of 20 units and retails for about $240,700. The statues will be available for purchase through a special website that opens on April 20th of this year. So, if you haven't been saving your money before, hopefully that STEMI comes in and maybe some tax refund. You smooth that.
It's going, Josh. It's all going. It's going.
Little bit of rent,
I just love that they had all that gold. It's like, man, what do we do with all this gold? It's like, dog, you ever seen Gundam? You ever seen Gundam?
It's like, hey, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Gundam, but I have molds.
But you know what, though? Gold. The wild thing is, somebody gonna buy it.
It's true.
Of course.
Yeah. Like,
yep.
And then I wonder, how much money would I have to be like, yeah, let me get one of each. You know what I mean? Like, that's wild.
You would have to have one of those cards that don't have
to alive. He's much more valuable alive. So I don't know why he would even attempt. He's like, do I get all of them or one of them? My vote is none of them.
But that's the thing, though. I know if I was somebody who was like, I'm guessing like, you spending $250 on a gold statue that don't do nothing. You top 1%, right?
Which means you
got freedom.
Yeah.
But that's amazing.
Yeah.
Josh is the CFO, so Blerd Bar Fun start.
If season 3 don't come out, but you see pictures, I mean, it is what it is. One of us had to go.
My news is very simple, very straight to the point. Super Meat Boy Forever is out now, available now. It's a legendary side scroller. It's going to be amazing. This is just a reminder for y'all. Like, don't forget, mid-pandemic, Demon Slayer is still coming out in the United States starting April 23rd. So, do what you got to do. Talk to your families. Go in with a plan. Be safe. But just know we going to talk about this film at some point.
Then also, it is coming out streaming-wise, I think, in June.
Could you imagine being a person who's like, oh, I haven't seen it yet because it's not June?
Bro, you just log off and don't.
Right, you just log off.
Log off and don't come back.
And you probably don't listen to the Blerd Bar for a little bit.
We're gonna title it. We're gonna talk about it.
But just like space it out,
Yeah.
Come back to that episode in June. Certainly got any more news?
Nah, that's it. Super Meat Boy. And Demon Slayer still exists, but that's not really news.
All right.
What you got,
We're
Big
going to keep this ball rolling real quick. Avengers issue 46. Obviously written by Jason Aaron, who still doesn't know what he's doing as far as writing for the Avengers. After the Enter the Phoenix saga, I have feelings. But anyway, or Enter the Phoenix saga is what it was called. First of all, let me just really quick address that they now have made the Phoenix Thor's mom in canon.
Freya?
Don't know how that happened. The Phoenix, the entity, the Phoenix, is Thor's mom.
The force? the
Phoenix Force itself physically embodied a Jean Grey lookalike from 10,000 BC, and Odin and her, Yami. So, whatever.
As gods do,
Right. So, anyway.
Zeus is gonna Zeus, Zeus be Zeusing.
Or Odin be Odin. So, yes, they're starting a new event, World War She-Hulk. Don't ask questions, you won't get dumb answers. So, World War She-Hulk is going to be the next event starting in the Avengers, issue 46.
Was she on Sakaar?
No. So, short backstory, after she came back from the dead, after Thanos punched a hole in her, unfortunately, she came back savage, or Grey Hulk for a little bit. Mm-hmm. She got that under control and then became hulked out. For the most part, she can still turn back into Betty.
Jennifer.
Jen. Mm-hmm. Betty is Harpy. She's having issues of her own. Anyway, there's so many things going on in the comic book universe. I try to keep it to a minimum for you guys because I don't want to tire you out. Anyway, so that's expected to drop July 7th, which is actually my birthday. That's surprising. And I probably won't read it on my birthday because I love myself. Secondly, in the news,
love yourself, King.
Love myself, King. Secondly, MOJO-JOJO has been cast in the live-action Powerpuff Girls. Nicholas Podani.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what that means for MOJO-JOJO, but
this whole thing is weird, man.
It's weird on so many levels. On top of the fact, we don't know like what he looks like. Is he going to be CGI? He may be
probably CGI.
I'm thinking it's going to be Gorilla Grodd, green. So,
but
yeah.
like,
we gonna watch it though, Josh. We gonna watch it though.
Who's we? I have an amazing backlog of anime that I have to catch up on that I will skip.
Well, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna talk about it.
You sure will. And then last but not least, PlayStation 5 released an update that now allows you to save games to any flash drive or any USB drive. Don't know why you would, but you can. So have fun.
Have fun. Now you can give your friend your Cyberpunk save data,
and still can't play it, and still won't be able to play it until you sign in as yourself inside. It's just a mess. Don't know why they did this, but they did it.
When you have to save the games to like an external hard drive though, because aren't like games
most
huge?
Games are accessed by the cloud. Yeah, most games are huge in general. So
yeah,
most AAA games at least you're going to be at least minimum 25 gigs.
Yeah,
that's low end.
That's low end, and that's probably like a 2D side scroller.
Yeah.
But
you like Super Meat Boy Forever. Download now.
Wait, this episode is not sponsored.
It's not sponsored. But yeah, so reviews, I guess, is now where we go.
Hey.
We got a bunch of questions from the
yeah, that's true. We gotta start moving.
We gotta get into it.
My reviews are short. Josh, do you have short reviews?
I have one short review.
Yeah, you can go ahead, please.
I finished the second season of World Trigger 2. Well, no, I finished the second season of World Trigger. I have to say that the animation has really stepped up his game and like the action sequences. Story is still what the story was pretty much of last season. I give it like a 3.5 though. Like that animation, I was supposed to check and see what I gave it last time. But I give it like a 3.5 for this season. It's a solid thing to watch while if you want your episodes of like My Hero Academia to build up so that you can actually like binge those or like any other thing. It's a solid thing to watch and just spend time on.
Nice.
Yeah.
What you got, Dan?
Sterling?
Oh, me? Okay.
Real
quick. One, I'm going to talk, sticking with our kaiju theme, SSSS Gridman, which was done by Studio Trigger, is like a Ultraman, kind of like Ultraman's referenced a whole lot, like the whole Ultraman verse is referenced a lot. It was a really cool anime, cool animation. I'm a sucker for kaiju and big monsters and big robots, so it was cool.
Liked it.
It was like 4.0. 4.
So he really enjoyed it.
I did. It was nice. Right. And I just watched Frozen 2 for the first time yesterday.
That's uncomfortable. I'm sorry.
That was like a 3 out of 5. Because it was fine. As far as Disney sequels go, though, that was solid. It was like
as a
fine
sequel.
movie.
It's a quality. It's a quality sequel. But
it might be the best Disney sequel.
There's some things in there I have issues with. Like the mom Stockholm syndrome, just completely forgetting her heritage, and that okay, whatever. Their daddy literally was like, "We did nothing wrong as white people, but you're not white, apparently." Whatever.
Yeah, there was like some colonialist apologist stuff in there, but anyway.
Oh man, let's not talk about it because I watch that movie every day. I'm trying to get my daughter out of it. So that we never have to watch that movie.
Dan, you can go ahead, man. You can go ahead and show yourself. You're good. Go ahead.
Go treat.
Anyway, my review.
Frozen 2 and its problematic theme.
It's definitely that. Episode 4 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. First of all, save the entire show before I written it off in my head as a buddy cop.
Good buddy cop.
it was an okay buddy cop. The first of all, the Dora Milaje came out swanging.
Nah, there was too elegant. There was pinpointed, structured in there. There wasn't no swing. It was just like
no, yeah. First of all, they're elite in fighting class, so we're not talking about that. But I'm talking about how they triggered John Walker on every level. Like I think he forgot he was married to a black woman at that point. Like he just forgot. He couldn't have remembered that because if he remembered that, he would not have tried them the way he did. He was like, "Do you know who I am?" They were like, "We don't care." And then
Dora Milaje have jurisdiction wherever the Dora
Milaje
find
had the secret code. They had the Dora Milaje had the Konami code to Winter
yo,
Soldier.
she hit with that up, down, left, right, select, start.
A, B, start.
Bucky's face. His face was
Drop
like,
that.
wait.
Run
He's
that.
like, and you would do this to me? Like, you know, but I'm
and
excited
they didn't tell
for
us
the
what
last
she
two
said to
episodes.
him, which I hope they do.
I hope so, but I think it was more so like, check yourself. I'm assuming that's what it was. It's like, you know, don't forget where you got this from.
That's true. Yeah.
So 2 more episodes left. We will see how this climaxes. I'm very happy that they quickly addressed the darkness of John Walker, U.S. agent, because I was like, they're playing softball with him the first 3 episodes, and then this was just like, he a bad dude.
I think what has been disappointing for me with this series so far was that this was the first episode, really, besides the intro of the season. This was the first actual episode, I guess, where you see Falcon be like great and like he got his suit back and everything, and you know what I mean, like he's actually doing stuff. I guess it kind of happened in the second episode. That's where they're fighting on the truck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, but like he got his ass kicked, and it's just like, and then
It was
episode,
the buddy cop feel.
Yeah, and even in this episode, they weren't the badass. Like they're not the ones getting the memes. This is the door. Like we need. I would definitely take a 6 episode season of like the Dora Milaje just going around being the Dora Milaje wherever the Dora Milaje find themselves to be. Like, I was like, say like yes, give me more of that. Yeah. So it was
because if the Dora Milaje had showed up in WandaVision, different story.
It'd have been hilarious.
Wanda would have been clocked.
But Josh, to your point, I think they're doing a great job of showing how Sam is very emotionally intelligent and connects with people. Like his conversation with Carly was great. Was really
good. That was yes, that was.
But
very
I mean,
awesome.
they're writing it in the sense that he was worthy of the shield, and so even though he surrendered it, he's more worthy of it than John Walker. Because John Walker was just like, "Do you know who I am, man? If you don't go sit down."
It was it's a very street level kind of a thing, but on a global sense. But like they're still like the way that they get around and like do stuff. It's just very like
grassroots a little bit.
Yeah.
So because of that, my rating from episode 1 to 3 was that this was like a 2.5 show. I just wasn't enjoying it enough. This took it up to a 4. Like I'm chilling now. I'm like, oh, this is the best thing that they could have done for the show. The problem is when you normally get to this point, that turning point in a show, we've seen it before with Game of Thrones. You even saw it with WandaVision a bit, of it just kind of going, or like
down.
or it just being like a sustained note where it does not improve on itself.
So what would it take? I know we got some questions to get to.
Yeah.
But what would it take for it to escalate for you? Let's get some Dan's predictions in here. It's been a minute.
Dan's predictions. Obviously they would have to globally recognize Isaiah Bradley, which we'll definitely talk about in the questions. Secondly, I would love to see at least hints to like Patriot.
My boy.
And obviously Sam doing something with the shield, and it being recognized by the MCU as him being Captain America, or because what I feel they're going to do is pretty much be like, John Walker failed. Now nobody can get it. No one can be Captain America.
Nobody has it now.
Nobody has it now.
If this white man can't do it, obviously it's not good.
Exactly right. So, but I think obviously the introduction of Dora Milaje is to help set up the Wakanda MCU show that they're going to do, or side series. There's not much that my expectations need other than to round out the story. And I don't want any forgiveness for John Walker. That is what I'm asking for. That's what we tend to do nowadays. Is like, you set up a bad guy, and then you're like, but you have to understand, he was coming from a place of no. Okay, no. His buddy did not. I understand that Lamar did not have a helmet on. But y'all knew he wasn't staying in this series long enough because they never gave that boy a shape up. So, on those grounds alone, they didn't give this man a hot comb. They didn't give this man dreads. They just told this guy, whatever you feeling to do with your hair, that's fine. That's fine. And then just let that boy go. He hit that pillar with intimacy. He got to know that pillar. And knocked him out. So anyway,
so we got some questions.
Yeah, we got questions. This is season finale, baby.
That'll end up with our final booze news and reviews of the season.
Yeah,
we are here. We got some questions for some BarFlyz. We gotta thank you guys. This episode would not be possible without you. In fact, most of the show wouldn't be possible without you because y'all listen. So
you don't listen. I mean, we could talk for hours, but
we can talk for a long time. Question 1 comes from our good friend James Kelly. It's a very interesting question. What does or has the Blerd Bar disagree or disagreed about the most? This is an interesting question because it made me think. It made me think but here's a little like behind the scenes snippet for you guys.
This is probably more so behind the scenes than anything because for the most part we kind of come out either, I'm often the neg, like, I'm gonna be the one on the, but I'm often the one obviously on like the negative, pulling out the negative stuff, but it's never from a sense of like disagreement to the point where I'm just like, you're dead wrong. Except for, maybe the Batman thing. Batman is not a superhero. But that's it. I think it would be Batman. Batman is not a superhero. That would probably be where I would say we disagree the most.
You think so?
I think for everything else, we're pretty much like all on the same page.
But I don't disagree.
for production stuff, I think we agree more than we disagree, but we all look at things differently too. It's not like a bunch of yes dudes sitting in a circle and be like, yes, let's talk about how great we are. Yes. What are you saying, Josh? You look like you got some.
Well, no, it's just that I don't call Batman a superhero, so I don't know who Dan's talking about.
I don't even know. That's what I'm saying. I don't think maybe it would be that, but I don't really know because we don't really disagree.
Not too much.
We don't disagree in a way that disagreements should be disagreed. Do we have communication issues? Maybe, I don't know. That might be a thing we need to talk about in therapy. Who knows?
I think one great thing. Sorry, go ahead, Josh. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say there's only one thing that comes to mind about disagreement, and that had to deal more with just personal branding than anything. But other than that,
personal branding. Elaborate, please.
You want me to elaborate?
I don't think I want you to.
No. I remember now. That's not a conversation for the board.
I knew somebody was going to get it. I was like,
I mean, you're right.
So, BarFlyz, just to let you in, it's the last episode. Okay, it's fine.
It is.
Just to let you know.
You're absolutely right. We can't have that conversation here, but you're absolutely right. That is the only thing we probably disagreed on. Yeah.
Some ways that, specific members of the Blerd Bar need to carry themselves on and off camera. And that's just all we'll say about that.
See, but if you're signaling on the camera. We can't do that.
Oh gosh.
But when it comes to disagreements, I think one awesome thing that is working with these guys, we are all business minded. So we all approach this in a business relational sense, where even if there are some things where it's like, hey, well, consider this from a business standpoint. And it's like, I see that. And I also remember our responsibility to our people. And we're all like pretty good communicators. Like there's none of us, no passive aggressive sticky notes,
Not yet. We ain't made enough money to be passive aggressive yet.
So when it comes to disagreement, there are some things that I don't know. So I have this phrase I say on the show. It's we'll get it in post. Sometimes the things that I say will get in post, our editor does not get in post.
To
And we're still here.
That answers Seb's question, which is also on this question here. Do we ever get it in post?
Never.
Sometimes we do. I think there's very small stuff, especially early on. We had to go back.
The first season, we got some things in post. This season, there has been nothing that has been
said the editor. So
the editor would know.
We're jumping ahead a little bit. We had a question from Sev, the MIC, who is my little brother. If we are ever going to get it in post. Big Dan, you got the next question, my guy.
I got the next question.
Anyone you want. Also, we don't have to go in order. We just
all right.
You can roll the D20.
Let's see. I guess we'll go with question number 6 here. In the comic book, the comic version of Marvel Civil War, who would you side with, Steve Rogers or Tony Stark? This was asked by Givens.
Our boy Givens. Our boy.
I'll answer. Steve Rogers. They were very direct in making sure that Tony Stark was classified the villain here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
More importantly, the Marvel Illuminati were the villains, just because they were just like, we think we're the smartest people and we can control how things go. So Tony Stark was definitely a villain, and Steve Rogers was like, people should have the right to be vigilantes, which I don't fully agree with, but he was more so saying the right to keeping their identities private, to not risk safety issues and things like that. As you can see in the comic book version, because Peter Parker's identity was public, Aunt May got shot. So, there's that.
I said that this reminds me of a question, I believe it was in season 1, that almost led to a segment called Super Court.
We still gonna have Super Court. Don't worry about that. We will still have Super Court.
Where the question of who to blame between like the Joker or Batman came into play, only because it's a question of whose insurance is paying for this, pretty much. I said I'd probably end up siding with Captain, though there would be some other things like have to be put in place, like insurance companies now cover like super accidents, right? And then you have sponsorships, right? Then you can be like, hey, Spider-Man can be sponsored with like farmers, like we are farmers. And then heroes band together and have an apprentice or two if they so desire, and that they themselves are like training. And then my only hesitancy with having it be government funded is that the countries can be problematic, because now the possibility isn't just you're fighting villains, you're fighting America's villains, which is / can get problematic real fast. So,
you got deep with that.
I thought that's what they wanted.
Well, apparently, I gave them what the fans wanted.
I think there were valid points on both sides.
Oh, easy there, Trump. Easy there. We not getting canceled tonight. What we not gonna do?
And it's all coming from Sterling. Like, this is so wild.
Yeah, that's the part that's weird. Like, you just like, it's both sides. Well, go ahead.
Nah, Captain America was completely right. For people who haven't read Civil War, it was a breakdown of Captain America basically, Tony Stark proposing that, like, oh, all heroes become government agents, they get pay, there's a system to keep track of who's doing what and where and why, right? And Captain America was like, well, I think that's nonsense. But then when the system was put in place, if you wasn't with Tony Stark and them, then you was against Tony Stark and them, thus
And went to jail.
Going to super jail, 42. I think and this goes for any superhero genre, anything with powers, as soon as governments get involved, it becomes a problem. Because you don't want people to become weaponized, and that's what it becomes. You know, like, okay, well, we're going to send they're not even heroes anymore. They're like metahumans or like superpowered individuals or conduits or whatever.
Or
like
weapons.
Until like the other side then saying like, okay, well, you guys are using bioterrorists, and it's like, whoa, what? So like, when governments get involved, it's just going to be a mess, and the people who don't have powers, those who don't have the power, the disenfranchised people, are going to be the ones that catch it the worst. And I think that's what is going to. That's the most important.
That's how we feel in 2021.
That's just how we feel out here.
Oh goodness. So is it my turn? Because I'm going to pick a lighter. I'm going to pick a lighter one.
Appreciate it. That one got heavy.
We'll dive back into some dark stuff, but I'm going to pick a lighter one. I was going to do number 2, but now I'm going to do number 4. If you were in charge of the future of Legendary's MonsterVerse franchise, what would your upcoming film slate be? At least 3 films. And this comes from Kent, who is apparently going to be a future guest of ours. So stay tuned for that.
Our boy Kent.
So here's my thing. I wrote notes on all these questions. Most of these questions.
Most of these questions have notes.
The issue is, from my limited Google research, Kong doesn't have a deep list of villains. He's almost like street level, if we're going to do a like MCU kind of a thing. He's almost like a street level.
Hell's
where
Kitchen.
in comparison, Godzilla has a very deep roster of villains that you can work with that are pretty larger than life. So if you want to keep Kong in the MonsterVerse, you might have to throw some of Godzilla's like lesser monsters his way just to keep him relevant for the big Pacific Rim Godzilla Kong team up. Now, we're gonna give Godzilla armor, we're gonna give Kong weapons and a dope ass mech, because that's who Legendary is. This trilogy will probably have to start with the Pacific Rim timeline, because I'm sure there'll have to be a time jump exposition to explain how we went from having to destroy Mechagodzilla to having mechs ourselves.
The answer is John Boyega. Easy.
Sure. Who's like the third cousin from the guy in Godzilla vs. Kong. Was the podcaster dude from
Paperboy.
Yeah, Paperboy. So
We need to learn his name, I think.
we do.
Brian. It's Brian.
We need to put some more respect on his name. He's a great
For real.
actor.
He out here working hard.
Yes. So start off with a Pacific Rim movie where, the humans barely win the match, maybe because there's like an uptick in monster appearances, and the ending line is something like, because once again, this is still a kaiju movie, we need the king, right? And then you just go to credits. Next movie introduces Kong, and he does some damage, but ends up getting his ass whipped by the big bad. Ending scene is Kong about to be killed, but then the big bad monster, gets knocked away, and when the monster looks up, it's Godzilla. Roll credits. Last movie starts off with Godzilla and the big bad fighting. They fight to a draw. Then later on in the movie, get Godzilla armor, get Kong weapons, with humans providing support in their mech. They probably end up losing anyway, because we're all here for the kaiju fights. We have a big fight. We all win. And if you want to throw in an after credit scene, you throw one in where the alien race from where the Pacific Rim is, the monsters are coming from, apparently, is like a hole in the Pacific Ocean. Whatever. I didn't watch Pacific Rim. I just did a quick Google search. Apparently, there's like a portal in the Pacific Ocean.
They closed that one. They closed that window.
It's a movie. Are you really gonna?
It's closed though.
Are you really gonna fight that logic? Oh, but they can't have another one. You guys, that's where you guys are gonna draw the line.
In the Atlantic Rim, maybe.
But it's called Pacific Rim. It's called Pacific Rim. So yeah, you throw in an after credit scene where the alien race of where all the monsters are coming from was monitoring how the last fight went, and then if you do well enough, you get your next big trilogy or whatever.
That was good, dude. That was good. I like the way you brought it all together, man.
First of all, it seems more in depth than most of the writers probably have attempted on these previous movies. So you might get a job or a phone call.
Legendary. If you listen to this, email Josh at the Blerd Bar at gmail.com.
I feel like Josh had more depth than all of the MonsterVerse movies so far combined. He was just like, the humans care a little bit. They might help. I was like, okay. You're hitting all the check boxes. I'm winning. Your movies have more depth than anything in a Fast and Furious franchise. It's one.
No, you are underestimating the power of family.
Whoa.
I'm underestimating the power of cars. That's what I'm doing.
Didn't F9 already come out though?
No, not yet.
Oh, they okay.
There's really a trailer out now.
There's really a trailer out, and it just all looks. It's cars and Vin Diesel, so I'm just like, didn't that already happen?
Whatever new stunt they can attempt to do with a car.
Yeah, no, that's true. All right, but yeah, that's my legendary next slate.
I have no follow up to that. That was wonderful.
I was going to default to you. I don't know enough about kaiju. I just don't. You did it, man. You carried the team. You're like Godzilla, personified. No other name but this.
Okay.
To go by.
Next question. I don't know what you're doing, but I don't like it. Next question.
For that, Sterling, go ahead.
Oh, is it my turn? All right, we got an easier question here. Coming from Ashley Perry. You hear that? Very kind person.
You hear that Philadelphia?
That ambience? I'm loving it. Yeah.
Philadelphia Symphony in the background. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now I'm self-conscious. Josh, ask a question.
He's a fool. All right. I guess we'll dive back down. I'm gonna go back and get dark with it. Question 2. How does the Blerd Bar feel about Isaiah Bradley in the Marvel Universe? And this comes from Stone Good of Jackalman Games.
Was this MCU?
He just said, how does the Blerd Bar feel about Isaiah Bradley in the Marvel Universe?
I think he was talking about MCU, yes.
Okay.
But we can definitely talk about, what is it? Red, blue, and black? Red, white, and black? What is it?
Red, white, and black.
Red, white, and black.
So, okay, no, that'll be great, though, because I'll cover what I know. And I only knew of him from Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was highly, I'll just read my notes. Honestly didn't know he existed until that episode. If Wikipedia can be believed, he seems to have a sad story, but unfortunately, not that unbelievable even in the framework of Marvel. And that speaks to the fact that he was tested on. And I mean, do your own Google research on that and the past. But I don't think I would want to see his story in the MCU, just because it would be more black trauma. And for me, even with, like I said, episodes before with Judas and the Black Messiah, it's even if it's a great story or greatly told story and well acted, it's still so triggering that it's just fuck, man. So I want to ask for an A or S tier black superhero that doesn't have race trauma, but unfortunately, that's the most extreme version of fiction there is. Having a black superhero
that's bars. That's bars. This man just said it.
That's the most far version of fiction that there is. Because there's always going to be that one episode that reminds the viewers of the reality of what the black experience is.
This nigga black. That's exactly what it's going to be.
Character when they don't have the costume on. And we saw that even when they introduced Isaiah Bradley. Afterwards, you know, him and Bucky are going back to, I don't know, the car or whatever, and the cops just show up and they're like, nigga, get in the car. And he's like, what? And they were just arguing, and then Bucky's like, do you know who this man is? Like,
gotta do that double take, because we all look alike.
And so, like, there's always going to be that episode or that clip where it's just like, nah, nigga, you still a nigga, so get the fuck in the car.
Oh, man. That was
personally,
a poignant remark, though. Like, that said it's the highest level of fiction there is.
Whew. But yeah,
I don't know why to feel like, I feel bad, but I feel like.
But that's the thing,
you literally like written a gut punch. Yeah. Like, that was it. It was just like, my guy, you were just like, it's so unrealistic that we can't write it.
We can't.
Because, unfortunately, that's what the reality is, right? Everything, all levels of media come from some level of reality, and so.
Right.
Whew. What about Blue Marvel, though, Dan? Do they have that?
Blue Marvel has a little bit of trauma, though, still. A lot of times he has to keep proving that he's the best amongst white peers. Like, there was a dialogue between him and Dr. Doom. Doom. Yeah,
Doom
Dr.
God?
Doom. It was Dr. Doom. So he's like, do you understand? Like, I can literally physically fight a black hole. Something Dr. Doom can't do. But, you know, Doom was just like, you black, though. Like, how would we know?
I have to Google that. Wait,
it's not simplified like that, but it's obviously
this is a paraphrase.
It's very like nuanced, because every time you see Blue Marvel, you have to remember that one, he was written fairly recent, but then retconned to have existed for so long in the Marvel universe, and which I guess is Marvel's apology for like writing, you know, the blaxploitation comics that they wrote, but you can't forget those. So.
It happened.
It happened, and Luke Cage talked like that for a long time.
Long time.
Can't
look at Misty Knight the same, even though she got that cool ass arm
turkey.
Though.
But how do you guys feel about Isaiah Bradley? That's
how do I feel? Right, we were about to go there. So, how do I feel? I guess maybe because I've read the most out of, if not the same amount with Sterling. It's a traumatic story. It's written from a place of pain. Because unfortunately, the only way we can really be heroic in a land that we would also be representing is to supersede that trauma, right? Like, we're often identified as hostile because we've taken on so much pain, and white people have internalized in their minds that we have not forgiven them for it, so therefore that's why we're fighting all the time. And that's not always the case. I mean, I'm angry about racism. I'm angry about the injustices. I'm angry that we keep seeing people shot on camera and there's just like no quick enough reaction to it other than like, she didn't know it was a taser, you know, stuff like that. So you're like, your characters have to keep rising above all of this and then expected to still fight for an entire country. Like, Isaiah Bradley's story is not dissimilar to my grandfather's, who fought in World War II and can still come back here and be called a nigga to his face, or told he can't drink from the same water fountain, or told that he can't sit in the ice cream parlor. So, you know, yeah, I can't linger on this one too long because it'll bug me. And, you know, try not to get choked up. But that's why seeing him made me cry on screen. Like, the moment I saw the character in that episode, like, I literally turned to my wife and I was like, I don't know if I can watch this, because if they show any more of him and any more the rest of the show, and they will, as they've promised, but like, had they continued that scene any longer, I just would have been, my shirt would have been moist. I would have been, this is messed up, man. So, yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel about Isaiah Bradley in the Marvel Universe.
I don't think there's anything I have to say that really hasn't already been said. He's commentary on a big part, one part of the Black experience. I can appreciate that. I actually only know Isaiah through his grandson, Eli, who's Patriot. And seeing him run around, he wasn't in Young Avengers when I was reading. It was right, because I was reading right after Siege. And it was Heroic Age. Seeing him like run around, I was like, oh man, that's really cool. I appreciated his character. But yeah, I think you guys said it so eloquently, so well put. I'm just going to move on to the next question.
All right.
I can read a question now. Okay, question. All right. In season 2, episode 8, Snyder cut what, right?
Yes, sir.
Jayhawk assumed that the BarFlyz knew that Ryan Choi was the Atom and refused to let Sterling mention it on the podcast. Ashley Perry asks, why?
So, and this might be my own bubble, but in my world, usually, especially when it comes to comic book stuff, I am like the last to know with a lot of things. Or like, it just does not dawn on me. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, I didn't know who Ryan Choi was. I know they gave this man a lot of screen time, but it was just like, why is he supposed to be important? Like, he got like one of the last scenes when he becomes like the director and stuff. And I was just like, I guess I'm supposed to know who this guy is, but like, to my mind, I've never seen an Asian person be anything really in like the DC world or whatever. So I assumed that I once again was the last person to know anything and everything. And on top of that, I am also usually one to where I don't want to be told stuff. So like, if I don't know it, let me look it up on my own, and then
don't be telling me stuff.
Right? Like,
why would
like,
I want to learn something?
No, legit.
From you?
Even something as simple as like, even something as simple as knowing how many episodes there are in a season. Like,
it's true. You didn't want to know that.
I didn't want to know.
Oh,
like,
I'm sorry.
I didn't want to know that there were 6 episodes in. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say in what though. But you guys probably know. I assumed because to Sterling's point, I forget if he said this on the show or if this was like after we were done recording. He's like, we as a generation move at the speed of memes, where it's like, like you can Google something and there'll be like 30 articles of people who have already done the research, or like, and you can piece together stuff. So it's like, I literally like try to put blinders on when going into like a new project, just so I can just so
take your time, boss. Take your time. Whenever you're done, take your time. Josh wasn't making any like valid points or anything. Just take your time.
Oh, that's funny. But no, just so that I can go in with like a clean slate of how to judge.
This is the final episode of the season,
right?
Gotta love it.
Of how to judge a piece of work on its merit alone and without any kind of filter or like actually, which is like, it's fine if that's you, but like for me personally, I just like to go right. I just like to go
Excuse me.
I mean, you pointed at both of us without pointing at both of us. I understand what you meant.
But the Blerd doesn't. We're not passive aggressive in any way, shape, or form.
But yeah. So that's why I assumed that people knew about it. And never mind. But yeah, that's why I assumed that people knew about it.
I think only because of the position that we're in, being a podcast that gets listened to regularly.
In the
we're kind of now like responsible to know, like to be in the know. Like we can definitely judge stuff at its merit, like face value, and not dig any deeper. But I think with the territory of nerddom, the idea is to at least know more, right, of the source material.
That.
I'm not saying that's something you have to do. I'm not.
Well, no. I was about to say, like, I get that, but I think because once again there are 3 of us,
right.
like I have never perpetrated or said to be the comic book connoisseur, right?
No,
The sommelier of
sci-fi and
superheroes.
superheroes. Like I have a lane and I stick to it, and that's it.
It's Brawl Stars. That's the lane.
Right, exactly. And I just want to always be true to that. And there might be a nerd who like also is in my same position where they like they're not a nerd in that sense. So.
And I understand it, but I think at the same time, and we do this more so off the podcast, I guess, of filtering out what may be said or not said in the podcast, so that way we're either not oversaturating you with a bunch of back content, and then also at the same time still acknowledging the references that are being made. Because I think directors do Easter egg stuff because they want the fans and the nerds to be like, "Oh," so
right.
Ooh, that's Adam Warlock. Ooh,
yeah. I get that.
So I think to a degree, there's a balance with everything to make sure that we're like doing some of that for people who may have missed it. You may have fallen asleep halfway through Godzilla vs. Kong and still not missed anything. So, it is what it is.
Next question, Big Dan. Thank you, Josh, for your breakdown in your. What you got, Big Dan? Which one? We got plenty to choose from. We got plenty of time. This is great.
What? Question number 8 from Ashley P.
Ashley Perry.
Well, you put Ashley P here, so I'm going to read how it's written here. But Ashley Perry. Now I know your full name. What did you like best of the format changes from season 1 to season 2? I guess this is a question for me. I didn't even realize that I was reading it like it was a question for me, but it is. Because I think I did a lot of the research for the tech and upgrading and all of that stuff. Obviously with the help of both of my co-hosts here. I think we were definitely thinking in the realm of how does this get better for the BarFlyz? Like, some people want to watch us be animated and talk about our daddy issues and
there was surprisingly like a daddy issues in season 2.
There was a lack of daddy issue talk in season 2, and I felt like it was my responsibility to bring that up right here, right now, in this moment. And so those format changes came with the fact that you guys didn't know we were recording at a bar. Sometimes we weren't, but we also have the bar set up. So to be called the Blerd Bar, we wanted to at least bring that visualization. And we, I don't know if we talked about it on this podcast, but we are also focusing on doing some like production level stuff. And so if we get that equipment, why are we not putting it to use for a video podcast? A lot of people are now watching podcasts instead of listening to them. That's how a lot of the formats are being, I don't know if you would say viewed?
Consumed.
But obviously like Joe Rogan's Kev on Stage, people that we are familiar with. So we were like, we got to throw our hat in the ring. We getting them slowly, but we getting those views out here. So I'm appreciating that. And we're diversifying where people can go and listen to them. And I think that's even better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
What'd you like, Josh?
What did I like best of the format changes? I do think it's fun, especially one thing that I really enjoyed was the fact that we were able to have guests on, and we were able to have guests, and that you were able to see our guests and see their reactions to like our shenanigans, and I think that would be great, and it'll be even greater when we get to a point where the guests can actually be like with us, right? We can all be like in one location. I think that could be like really wild. I think that might be actually like the best part, the video aspect, but more specifically the fact that we had guests, because with the addition of guests and video, it's just like literally a double layer of just like freshness to it that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So what did I really enjoy about the format changes? I really just like video. I like you guys being able to see us. I think it was actually in a lost episode of the Blerd Bar one that you guys didn't get. But there was one time where Josh was like literally laughing so hard. He stood up and then like he was just on the floor. And it was just like seeing us like laugh and really get into it. I think that's pretty cool. I enjoyed that.
Was that a lost episode?
I'm pretty sure that was. Yeah, that's a lost episode.
I don't think it was. I thought that made it because Dan was like, Josh is on the floor, and I think that's in the episode. I didn't get that in post. But
really,
that was season 1 though, right?
But it could also be something could have happened where yes, it is not.
It did get caught in post. I don't remember.
But yeah, I remember that night though. That was a funny night. I think that had to do with daddy issues.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, it did.
I'm pretty sure it had to do with daddy issues.
Probably.
There's been surprising lack of daddy issues in season 2.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we were trying to keep it wholesome for the entire family to enjoy.
We growing out here.
Daddy's included.
I guess I'll go next.
Yeah, we got a couple more questions. We got plenty of time.
We might have to get that one in post.
I'll go next. I'm gonna go with question 5 because I'm just gonna go quick straight down the thing. Whenever we decide to jump, I'm still just gonna go back and go down.
Okay.
Question 5, and Sterling, you're gonna have to pronounce the name. Do you think society will ever fully accept a polyamorous relationship? And
that's from our boy Poochie Saru.
Oh, I would have said it right. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I would have said it correctly as well. I'm surprised.
So the funny thing about that is I've been watching Star Trek Enterprise, which dropped in 2004, and there's a race of aliens called the Denobulans, where like he's the doctor on the ship, and he's like, oh yeah, it's common practice for, I have 3 wives, and those 3 wives have 3 husbands, and those 3 husbands have 3 wives, and that's just like how we do things. Like, it's fine. So, and that was back in 2004. Not to say that being poly is something of science fiction, but it's the fact that it was already accepted to put on screen for people to see. I could easily see like my grandkids coming over for like Thanksgiving or something, and I don't know what it's called, but like a poly tribe, like they bring their poly tribe, and that's just like it's
polycule. It's
polycule, and like
molecule. Yes.
Somebody in my generation, like, my wife might be like, I just don't understand, right? But it's just gonna be like,
the way you did that. I'm trying not to. If you get in trouble,
you gotta get that in post, Moon Doggy. We gotta get that in post.
No, but like I'm saying, somebody from our generation, I could see that being their thought process. But okay,
I'll wait till you're done.
Well, yeah, I'm saying somebody from our generation. Like, I think there's still enough. It's not mainstream enough that even people in our generation probably aren't okay with it. But by
that is correct.
But by the time my kids have kids, and those kids are old enough to actually bring people to like the family dinners or whatever, like I could see it being accepted. I mean, don't quote me on that. Like, nah. Josh said Lil Slippy said back in 2021 that this is gonna be cool. Like, don't hold me to that, but I could see it being more accepted by that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question says, "Will society?" And I think it might need to be narrowed down to Western culture, American culture. But at the same time, even then, I mean, society at points in the human race, it exists already. It has existed. A lot of what Western civilization has cultivated as far as society is concerned comes from Roman culture. Once Constantine got got to be emperor, and so monogamous relationships and all that stuff became
All that stuff.
structured and altered, and it is what it. Honestly, you're in the land of the free, home of the brave. Do what you want. Can't nobody tell you to do anything. Now, if you're trying to be on people's taxes and stuff, I can't help you with that. That's out of my wheelhouse. I don't think you really care that much to be on somebody else's taxes. If you care that much to be on people's taxes, I don't know, man. If I didn't have to be, I love my wife, but it was taxes.
Let me cut in real quick, Big Dan.
I'm just saying, why am I being? Hold on, I love my wife, but why am I being penalized for being in a household?
The Blerd Bar needs a new host. Do you think that you should be a part of the Blerd Bar?
Big Dan will not be here for season 3. But no, I'm dead serious. But married people, monogamous relationships, civil unions, you can hype them up all you want, but then you also got to pay them taxes. It is what it is. So I'm not going to tell nobody else how to live their life. If you subscribe to something that is completely your choice, the Constitution shouldn't be preventing you from that. At the same time, are you telling other people how they should feel about it? I also don't subscribe to that, because people are going to feel the way they're going to feel, regardless. I walk outside and a police officer says taser, and it's not, it is what it is. I can't change that person's mind. At the same time, you shouldn't be dragged through the city streets and put scarlet letters all over your body, because we have cell phones now and you can do those in the comments. Anyway, that was a facetious joke and poorly done, but it is
let me jump in real quick, Big Dan.
People have feelings, and they're going to disagree with you regardless of whether you do it right or if you do it in a way that makes them feel comfortable. They're still going to feel like it's wrong.
That is true.
That's just how things go.
Yes, I agree.
How do you feel?
I've said white people on this podcast way too many times. I'm pretty sure certain white people don't like me about it. It is what it is.
All right, let me just jump in for the third time,
But
Big
I love
Dan.
everybody, man. Y'all have a blessed night. I'm sorry. I'm going to go.
I appreciate your comment on the taxes. So, for those of you guys who do not know, I am non-monogamous. Specifically, I am polyamorous. To answer the question, because I know we are in time frame, we got a lot of questions to hit up. To answer the question, I think society will only be accepting of a polyamorous relationships.
I think there is Western society.
I'm sorry. Sure,
Western society.
Yeah, sure. Because that's all I've
just because I feel like there's societies and cultures that already do this, and it's not a thing. Like, it's not an issue.
See, I see what you're saying, and I don't have enough data to get into that. Anyway, I think there is a chance, but it's going to be after the fall of capitalism, because everything that polyamory stands for is anti-capitalist. It's like taking its autonomy and saying this person can do what they want, right? Because we were fed, me personally, we were fed the whole idea of the nuclear family. Like, fall in love, get married, have a baby, name him Nate if it's a boy, right? It was a scam. That's not how that goes. We got, okay? I say that to say that most families are...
I don't know.
I say that to say most families are non-traditional, right? Like, it's not... How many of us do actually fall into the nuclear family? I know I didn't. I know many people who listen to this podcast did not, right? So, acceptance of a non-monogamous relationship, specifically a polyamorous relationship, like, it's going to be the form... To me, we're going to hit that point when the forms are different. When tax forms are different. When a person... when a kid is in school and they have, like, the parent guardian forms where it's more than two slots in there for that. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, when we don't have to worry, when people don't give kickback about their partner being in the hospital. And I was like, oh, sorry, only their spouse can visit them, because they have more than one partner. So it's these interesting interactions that, like, y'all like monogamous people don't have to think about. That's a part of what y'all got going on, and that's great for
What
y'all.
you mean we don't gotta think about them? I definitely have to keep updating like forms. I have to fill out forms. Being married is literally filling out forms for the rest of your life. Like
Sterling's in hell pose.
he definitely he took it in, but I'm like, and I mean, this is obviously another episode in and of itself, or
Is it,
a
though?
completely different podcast.
We're just going to get all the polyamorous people I can. Just be like, come talk about being polyamorous on the Blerd.
But I'm just like, it's a conversation that I think transcends more so than the question that's being asked in the Blerd bar, right?
Yeah. We got other questions to get to.
We got other questions, and that is definitely an episode, if not a series in and of itself.
I think it's
Or
possible.
Its own podcast.
I'm gonna say
it might be its own podcast.
It might no. We got other questions.
There's no one out here having a poly podcast about.
There are multiple actually.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Jesus. All right, so question 7A.
we love everybody out here, so I don't know why it seemed to get tense. It wasn't tense. I think we all just have different perspectives.
Wait, which question 7 are you on? Question 7A?
Question 7A. When are we getting merch with cartoon versions of the Blerd Bar host? I didn't know that was a thing that you guys wanted, honestly.
Who asked this question?
Ashley
Who
Perry?
wants my face on a hoodie? Nobody.
Nobody. That's another thing. It's like,
Keith,
I don't know if
Keith Small wants your face on a hoodie.
I don't know if we need visual
I guess.
representation of how many people are fans of Sterling, right? Like, for our own personal.
Hey, Keith is a big damn
The
fan.
Sterling hoodie
Stop
is
playing.
sold out. The Sterling hoodie is sold out. But we got this Big Dan hoodie though.
Right, we're 50% off, right? Like, and it's still
Right.
like, nah, we don't care.
Nah.
Like, let us know when you get that Sterling back in stock.
Right. He's hateful.
nah.
Why would I want that on my hoodie?
I
Yeah.
honestly didn't know that was a thing. But I mean, if you guys want it,
If you like it, we love it.
yeah.
We'll put it. We'll throw them up there.
Let's get this video to 2,000 views. 2,000 views. What's the like? Like 2,000 views, 150 likes. Bam, y'all got it. Let's go. Easy peasy.
Here's what we're gonna do, because that's a high number. We don't even have a.
If they want it,
2,000
give the people their want.
We're not going to get 2,000 followers, my guy.
That was a wild.
I said 2,000.
He threw that number out like we got millions of followers.
Sterling definitely told y'all, nah, y'all not getting
No,
that. That's what Sterling said.
that's what he said. Apparently. Yeah,
I think
but
we get 150
if y'all really
likes.
want my face on a hoodie, I don't see. Y'all just want Sterling's face on the hoodie, is what y'all saying. That's what that question is.
Well, no, they could also have all three of us, right? It could be all three of us, and then that's cool.
We could design one where it's like that at the
All
Blerd
three of
bar,
us.
and then all three of us.
150 likes.
Okay, we'll work on the design for you
We'll
guys.
talk about how you guys will get it, but it's in the works.
Right.
Next question.
150 likes.
You asking for too much, bro.
Next
We
question.
don't even average 30 likes. What is you doing out here?
Who has the next question?
All right, I think this is a really, really easy one, seeing as we're coming up on time. Question number 9. Would you like to see the Snyderverse continue? And this comes from our boy Anderson Ryan, future guest, great artist. That's gonna be a big old no for me. Jayhawk, your thoughts?
Question 9. Okay, I see where it is. Loaded question. Loaded question. I think the Snyder Cut opened the door to great possibilities. I think the issue is that everyone is wary to give DC any more of their time or money when it comes to the DCEU. And that's kind of like, would I want to see more movies? Kinda, but do I want to gamble it being horrible and me just feeling more like, why is DC bad at live action movies? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's the real issue that I think hardcore fans are having, where it's just like, I wish you would just be great, and every time you're just not doing it. You're just not providing. So it's just like, why? So that's kind of where it's a loaded question. I think I think if there was a way that you could promise the DC fans that it would be a good movie,
You can't do that. That's irresponsible.
Like you have to promise. It has to be like written in like
Pinky swear.
The book
Pinky
of
swear.
names. Like, just like
swear.
the DC, like the Snyderverse will be continuing and it's going to be good. People will be like, all right, I might give it a try on HBO Max on a rainy Saturday when I ain't got nothing else to do. Outside of that,
I don't know. I mean,
it's
like
the only reason why we watched the Snyder Cut is because it was there all this hype about it, and we're a part of this podcast. Otherwise,
Yeah, I was gonna say I watched it because I needed to talk about it. That was it.
Other than that, no.
Yeah.
I guess the longer version of my answer beyond no is the MCU is like the Big Mac, right? Mm-hmm. And every other major chain tries to have their Whopper, their Dave, the Wendy's #2, I guess. I don't even know what that's called.
Never frozen beef.
Okay. Checkers always just trying to name a burger because it runs right through you.
Dog, I couldn't name
Arby's
a Checkers
is
burger.
Arby's.
Gun to my head, I could not name a Checkers burger right now.
Don't they have the Baconator?
They have something called...
No,
the
that's Burger
Baconator.
King.
No,
it's
it's
Burger
something like
King.
Son of Bacon or something like that.
Really?
Mother of Bacon. I don't remember. Anyway, and I think the DC universe or extended universe is trying to do... They came too late to the MCU setup, and I honestly think now we're suffering from superhero movie fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting, if we're not there yet, we getting there.
We are swiftly approaching.
And because you can't keep getting fed cake and expect to feel good about it. And then they're like, oh, we put a little blood in your cake, a little bit of gore, after a while.
I was like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? Thanks for cleaning that up.
I followed up. So, I don't know if they're ever going to do anything that meets the pop culture standard to be the MCU or the Snyderverse. I think people like creating internet buzz and, do what you will with that. But we already have established WB don't care about none of y'all. They don't like money. They like telling people no. You ever met a person that looks at little kids and just be will say things to trigger them? Like no, just to see how large or big they cry. And you're like, oh, okay, you're one of those people, psychos.
I don't think that I have, Big Dan.
I was about to say,
don't think that I have.
All right, next question.
Wait a minute. My parenting is not coming into question right now.
Nobody said it was.
Is that there's
Big
people-
fella. Nobody said it was.
There's people out here who just looking at little kids and being like, my ice cream, just to see if they're going to cry. And I know that for a fact because I've seen people do it. Because it's done to me. Because I've had bad cousins.
I'm going to go to a quick question. I'm going to go to a quick question.
Please.
Question 9C. Does Jujutsu Kaisen have the ability to be the next best mainstream anime? I'm gonna
Short
say
answer is yes.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yes.
I would like to argue that you will be able to go back after months or years and binge the series, or at least season 1, because that's all we have right now, and still enjoy it without skipping episodes like Naruto or Dragon Ball Z. I think, I would even possibly change my score to a 4.9. Because I still can't, but
Oh, what? Yo, you know who you're being right now?
I have 3 more episodes for me to either agree or disagree with you.
Josh,
Right
you
now
know,
where I'm at, I'm cool with it.
no, Josh, you're being the teacher. You're being the teacher. There are no perfect papers. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just telling you what my score is. But it's literally it. I thought Attack on Titan was going to be one of the best ones off of the first season, and then the other seasons happened. But so far, Jujutsu Kaisen, it's been great. So,
I got the next question here.
Okay.
Question 13. Sterling, did you answer? Yes or no?
No, yeah, a resounding yes. Hello? Yes, go ahead. Easy.
Question 13. How do you feel about the closeness of Gotham and Metropolis as presented in Batman vs. Superman and Justice League versus in the comics? Who asked this question?
My cousin.
Okay. So,
He wrote how he wanted to be introduced because he didn't want to make sure that there was any like nepotism going on. But it's just
okay.
It's my cousin.
Your cousin. That's
he's
fine.
a barfly. It's fine.
He's a barfly. I respect it. I'll answer this question first, I guess. Based on Batman versus, this is one of the few things I'll praise those movies for. They got it right. If you go back into like the late 80s or late 70s, there's a map of where Metropolis is, Metropolis is in Delaware, not New York, and Gotham City is in New Jersey. They're both coast cities, right? And they're divided by a body of water. BVS and Justice League got it right.
Big tunnel.
That's cool. Because honestly, this is literally what I wrote. Geographically and appearance-wise, I honestly didn't think about it. Dan? Question mark. So-
Answered that question. But yeah, I mean, because I know that the metaphor was that Gotham is New York City at night, Metropolis is New York City in the daytime. But Metropolis is in Delaware. So Gotham is in New Jersey, as it should be, because everything is legal in New Jersey.
I think it's fine. It's not something I'm sweating particularly. There are lots of bad things to look at Batman versus Superman and Justice League.
It's one of the few things they got right.
So that's fine. I don't. It's not. It didn't lose points for being convenient.
That's not where it lost.
No.
Sterling, do you have your next question? Because I actually know what my next one's going to be.
Next question. What are our opinions on Suicide Squad 2, directed by James Gunn?
Go ahead.
I'm excited to see what James Gunn is going to do. And it's James Gunn. He hasn't let us down so far.
It's true.
Guardians of the Galaxy is a surprising smash hit. And James Gunn should have been doing this for Suicide Squad. But obviously he was busy with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy was so powerful, it left shockwaves through the whole superhero movie cinematic genre. Like,
It changed the way that Thor got filmed.
straight up changed the way the original Suicide Squad got filmed. You know?
Oh yeah, they were like, "Oh, this is good." Reshoots.
So, I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was it. I kept mine short and sweet on that one.
This is all I wrote. I'm not expecting much. Take it for what it is. A possibly fun and raunchy ride. Kind of like The Expendables DC edition. And people might find that to be disrespectful towards James Gunn. I'm just thinking about, unfortunately, the last thing in my mind when I think of Suicide Squad is what I saw, which was Suicide Squad. So the fact that they got...
What comes to mind when you think about Suicide Squad? Trash.
Like the fact that they got a second one. The fact that they got a second one, I'm just like, it might be a bit more fun. It looks more fun as opposed to like what they did, and that's probably because of the reshoots. But the fact that like even from the trailer, there's a giant rainbow starfish or whatever like that, like
Whoa. The conqueror.
You
That's
gotta
important.
respect the star.
That's
You gotta
important.
respect it.
So this also might, to Ashley P's comment earlier or question, this might come to the fact that I don't really know much, and I didn't research it yet. So it's just like I see giant starfish.
I won't ruin it for you. But
I just see a giant starfish and I'm just like, but like, the fuck does this all mean? Like, why does this look stupid now? Now this looks stupid, and I'm not honestly excited for it. So
I mean, he's considered a Galactus level villain on some levels, so I'm excited to see what they do.
I'm very interested to see what they do. Specifically, another part of Anderson. This is from Anderson Ryan. He was like, how do we feel about them using the same characters but not being clear if it's a direct sequel or if it's a different universe, or how are we feeling about that?
I'm fine. I'm at peace with it.
I had to double check that Idris Elba was a new black person, and they just weren't like, Idris Elba is now Will Smith. And I'm happy to report that he is a different person altogether. I'm happy with that.
Some of us knew.
Well, I just had, because I didn't know what his character was called. So like I looked up like the cast, and I was like, oh, okay. Cool. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think that'll be one of the questions that they have to answer within the movie. At least I hope that they would answer within the movie of like, is this like a round
I would appreciate James Gunn just being like, you didn't see anything.
Did you?
Nothing happened. Don't even pay attention.
Yep.
Isn't this fun?
So, yeah.
The first Suicide Squad movie that has ever been made. Isn't that interesting?
I mean,
yeah.
If this movie is a gentle, no.
Yeah, reboot, a silent reboot.
Yep.
I'd be fine with that if it was a silent reboot, but it will be interesting to see which. We're all drinking. It'll be interesting to see which direction they take for that. Next question. Just gonna keep it moving. It's fine.
You about to make me ruin this equipment here. You better chill.
I really like both question 10 and question 11. But question
Wait,
11,
you still reading question 10 after the Among Us nonsense?
Right. Oh, that's
Make sure
funny.
you go check out the shortest game of Among Us that we've ever played.
Because of that, I'm not reading question 10. You Tone. Try not to cuss anymore. Question 11.
No, just read the question.
Question 11.
Hey, Tone, I got you on the next one. I got you.
This comes from my cousin. Fuck you, Tone. What black DC character launches you DC universe? Who or what team do they connect with over a span of movies?
That was when I read this question, I was like, is this an episode?
It might be, and only because it's a deep dive into, like, are we saying that they meet up with other black superheroes? Are we trying to have this like on like BET only, right? Like it's just like blackity black. Because I would start it with Jon Stewart or Black
Is there
Lightning.
a question? When I saw this question, I was like, is there a question?
There can be.
Is anybody on the Blerd bar like, wow, I really like Hawkman? Like,
First of all, calm your boots. Do not hate. But I'm fine with that.
So I said Jon Stewart or Black Lightning, and he somehow teams up or / meets Cyborg, and like the Outsiders get started, like that kind of a thing. But also like I Google researched black superheroes in DC, and they don't got a deep ass roster. So like that Blackverse that'd be a really short trilogy of a movie. Or
Vixen
like,
be showing up like, hey, what's up? And we be like, you can stay.
That's like 3 seasons. You know what I mean? So like at some point you're gonna have to start incorporating, unfortunately, other people, or
not
DC's
unfortunately,
to,
but you know,
right?
We'll get it in post.
Well, no. I mean, unfortunately,
he
like
said what he said.
Like white people, like you're gonna have to start bringing in like the whites, like you know those people that Sterling don't like. You know?
Whoa!
I'm
over this episode,
earlier
man.
this episode.
I'm over this
like,
episode, man.
but no, legit. I think at some point I would love to start it with Jon Stewart. I think that'd be a really cool thing to do. But at some point, it can't just be like a black verse, right? It just can't be Black Twitter, you know. Or
I don't know if you can do. I don't know if you can achieve that without addressing once again black trauma.
Yeah.
He didn't. That wasn't the question he asked. Like,
I understand. Given my heavy disdain for DC, right?
Heavy.
Heavy. That being said, most of the time that I look at these characters, Jon Stewart is probably the most fleshed out, second to Cyborg, obviously, who literally once again suffered from blaxploitation until really being written into his own.
What about Static Shock?
Static Shock actually was in DC at first. He was Milestone until DC took over Milestone. So
Give me that.
And now Milestone's back.
And then Milestone's back, but they're still under the label of DC. So but I think
Also,
obviously.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say also I couldn't see starting a franchise with Static Shock. Like it is what it is. Sorry.
You can't.
Like,
He's straight. Unfortunately, you
like,
can't.
Sorry, but
But Cyborg obviously I think would have been the first person to choose, because, and Sterling, forgive me, Jon Stewart is a green cop.
He is.
He's a
he
green
is.
space cop.
He is. Yeah.
I don't bang with cops, so.
But people love cops. I'm not
Don't
gonna
they
say
all?
Some people.
I sound like I say who people, but people love cops.
I would assume it's blue people. But anyway,
I get it. The Mauler. You're
all them
referencing
green
the
people
Mauler
look alike.
twins from.
All green
Invincible.
people look alike.
ooh. Anyway, I'm sorry. That was fun. I love that joke. I'm gonna have to cut that clip.
All green
Save
people
it
look
for
alike.
myself. That too.
That was hilarious.
But obviously you would bring in Jon Stewart. Obviously, if not first, then second. But sometimes Jon Stewart just he's in space, and I think whenever you do a space story, black people aren't black people anymore. They're aliens, just like every other alien. So I said what I said.
I can see what you mean.
That's interesting though, because depending on where you start Jon Stewart's movie, if we start off with him already being the Green Lantern and he's off doing space stuff, then you finally get that A tier person who technically doesn't have to deal with the black trauma because he's an alien amongst aliens. But then at some point
but he still
to do
started.
a
He still got
flashback.
it.
Yeah, at some point you're gonna have to go back, and then
Don't
what
they
it
actually
is.
do that episode in Justice League? I feel like he actually goes back to his hometown. I think. And
don't
he's
remember
just
that.
like
I'm not
in costume, but and then
Probably.
deals with being black, but because why
But
not?
yeah.
Anyway,
But,
that was
Jon
my
Stewart.
yeah.
Yeah, mine
So
Jon
that's how I
Stewart
would
too.
do that.
Easy. GG.
Okay,
Easy. I'm easy. Let's go. Next question.
Answer that question.
Jon Stewart.
Question 14: Should Daredevil enter into the movies or stay a series, given the Disney guardrails? I don't think he should get the Disney guardrails. Should he appear in movies? Yes. I don't think he should get his own movie. He's very. What was very smart about the Netflix series was that it being episodic told a better story of Daredevil. Daredevil in a movie does not work. We saw it already.
Yeah.
It don't work. Him don't.
I have
walk
some
good.
people who argue that's the Ben Affleck curse, but continue.
Yes, but it was also a writer's curse because if you listen to the dialogue in that movie, it was bad.
Bro, and somehow we got an Elektra movie? Do you remember that, yo?
That's because there was a contract that was written before this movie, so they were like, "Hey, we bring you on, you getting your spinoff, girl." And
She's like, fuck it.
and then she just disappeared into mediocrity, and then came back mediocre. So it is what it is. Anyway, Daredevil, he's a street level superhero. At most, might get called in for an attack on New York City. Probably won't. He's more of like the last to be called. Because whenever there's something that goes on in New York City, he's just like, Hell's Kitchen needs my help. And you're like, we get that though. But there's aliens
broke
in
Batman.
Manhattan.
He's very good at his job,
Batman.
though. He is very good at his job.
He is very good at his job.
He has superpowers. He's
Okay,
very much.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I wouldn't call him a broke Batman. I would give that more so to maybe like Moon Knight, but Moon Knight is psychologically broken. Therefore,
right. I just meant it as like he can fight, but like because he don't have the funds to get a bat armor or a Batmobile.
Yeah, but I mean, there's been times where he ended up getting Heimdall's sword in the comic books, and then was able to be all seeing. At the same time was blind, and so because he was blind, that helped him be all seeing better, because no normal human would have been able to take all that information in and like still be good at it. It was only for like 3 issues. I understand your eye roll. I rolled my eyes when I read it, but I was like, it's cool. Anyway, he needs a show. I'm fine with seeing him in a movie to help Peter Parker or stuff like that. But he don't need no full movie. Why would you do that? We all know his origin story. It's not that great.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Give me an hour episode. 13 of those. I'm fine. What say you all?
I said if it was going to happen, I also agree that it would have to stay a series. But unfortunately, it would have to be rebooted again, right? Because there was the movie, and then we had the Netflix amazingness. But it would have to stay a series and build.
I don't know if it needs to be rebooted.
I feel like the powers that be would want it to be. It could be a soft reboot. We could if you can take care of it within the first 3 to 5 minutes. That's fine. Like, and then you just like
Secret War happened.
To, like, 15 years later or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like. Like,
well, I mean, in the first season, fine, they do talk about the attack in New York,
having to be rebooted because, right? But like, just because of how great, at least to me, the first that Netflix series was, like that. That's like if you think of Daredevil now, before Netflix, you thought of Ben Affleck. Now, when you think of Daredevil, it's that series. So for it to be really under the Disney bandwagon and the Disney umbrella, I feel like there would have to be at least a little bit of a soft reboot, even if it's from the first 5 minutes of the first episode, or if you wanted to do the first episode or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it would have to happen. And then always have then I said build back up to having the Defenders being a thing, but then always have Daredevil's realm, which would be like the Defenders realm also, playing in the background and being affected by the big timers, the Avengers. So like the Avengers are obviously like your moneymaker, go to the movie theaters, do it. But like with the Daredevil and the Defenders, you could really bulk up that Disney Plus subscription if you were gonna put money into one thing. Like, that's what you could do. So yeah, that's what I said. That's how I felt about it.
Strong feelings.
Yeah. Does Sterling agree or disagree, or is there something or should I just move on to the next question?
I think the best thing because I like to believe, and I'd love to hear the BarFlyz opinion on this, but I think the superior medium for storytelling of superhero stories is just like the Netflix series, 40-minute episodes. You get the detail. You're not weighed down by like, okay, we need to have a beginning, a middle, and an end within an hour and a half, like, or 2 hours now. It's just superior. I think if they do Daredevil, I think they should keep. I heard you this time. I think, if they're going to do Daredevil, it should stay that type of mini series.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because detail. That's what I'm there for. I'm there for seeing like, oh, hey. Oh, man, they referenced this one thing. Like, they referenced the Thunderer. That's all I want.
You can do that. You see that being done in the comic books. Like, Daredevil's not all over the Avengers movies, or the Avenger comic books. Right. You don't see him just popping up and like, hey, guys, can I roll with y'all? Like, no, he's doing his own thing. And I think that's always fun when you see those characters kind of pop in and out of their universe, their little, like, mini universes. But you still get a character that you care about. You get a story you care about. And I strongly feel like they need to come back to how the Netflix series ended, because you were getting a setup for Bullseye, and
I was about to say, I
wanted that so bad.
Even if Disney tapped everybody who was a part of the net, like just ask them to
just
come
put it
back.
on Hulu, man. Just put it on Hulu. Put all your dark
I think
stuff
they
on
could
Hulu.
ask them to come back and be like, hey guys, we really love what you did. We love the work that you did. The dude from Criminal Intent with Kingpin, like, we really love the stuff that you did. We're gonna bring you guys back, but there are some things, because we're Disney, that just might not be able to happen.
You can just put it under the Fox banner, put it under your Hulu banner. You don't even have to be like, hey, Mickey Mouse don't approve of the violence and the cussing. You just be like, throw it on those other things that you own, because you own everything Disney except for the Blerd bar, and so
But for the right check, just
maybe,
stop.
I think.
Maybe no, I ain't gonna hold you. Call. You know what? Call us. We got ideas. I said what I said.
Email us at theblerdbar@gmail.com.
Disney don't care about this little fish. So anyway,
I think the next for me, I think personally, the next set of questions should be 10, 12, and then 15. But
yes, I was going to say that, and let's try to keep them short, because we're almost going over about an hour and a half, about an hour 45 minutes.
Let's do it. Let's knock it out.
Yeah. Question 10, because Josh won't read it because he's being petty. If you could transfer to an anime universe, what would you choose and why? Must list 2 negative consequences of this choice. I'm going to say, because I don't do anime that much, so I'll go first. Put me in Full Metal Alchemist universe.
You wildin'.
No.
You wildin'.
First of all, oh wait, I'm black. I can't go to the Full Metal unit. I'll be considered one of those people that was a part of the genocide. Never mind.
The red eyeball.
That's just one of your 2 negative things. That's all.
Well, then I wouldn't live very long. I was
You never know.
One Punch Man. I'm fine with that.
No.
I'm middle class, so I'm not going to be in any of those districts where monsters just chilling in the hood. I might be. I live in Port Richmond right now, so that's like District 13. So, matter of fact, monsters might be here.
Oh gosh.
That being said, I wouldn't worry about being a hero, being a civilian where the major threats are being handled. Maybe I die, but I'm gonna be in my house, because apparently King can be out here playing video games, and he's fine with no powers. So,
Damn, tag your spoilers, dog.
first of all, not that season 2's been over for a year. Not doing that.
I didn't know where the anime was, so like I knew already that, but I didn't know where the anime was.
Oh. All right. So,
Sterling, what say you?
what's another negative?
I
would have to vote on these superheroes. Like he's not my number one, but he might be yours.
That's true.
So having to actively vote on people based on their powers and being a part of that like community, that's a negative for me, because I don't really care that much. Just keep me alive, B. That's all. Your responsibility is to make sure I stay alive. I don't care about the rest of that. Why I gotta vote for you? How good you look doing it. As long as my house is fine, I'm cool. What about you guys? What anime universes?
For me, it would be My Hero Academia.
Interesting choice.
That was my second choice. Actually, I had written that one down.
Here's what I say. Downsides are you could have a real lame ass quirk, right? That's one.
Oh, I would.
Or die either literally or by becoming the messed up failure of some weird mad scientist experiment.
They do be snatching people.
So those could be the thing. But the worst of the best situation is that you are doing exactly what you're doing now in life and be quirkless. You're just help desk. You're just help desk with
Super
no
court!
powers.
Super court.
So that's that could be the worst thing I think that that could happen in MHA.
Is
My Hero Academia.
being quirkless and working in IT?
Being quirkless and doing your job that you're doing now. That's the worst of the best situations. Right?
Yeah.
Because the worst of the worst is literally that you die or that you become like a Nomu, right? For whatever reason.
High-end Nomu.
Right, those are the worst things, and then the best of the worst situation, or maybe I guess it might be the second worst of the best, is that you have a lame ass quirk, depending on what your quirk is. You know what I mean?
And you still work in IT.
And you still work in IT.
Still closing them tickets, baby.
Right. So
still be your quirk is just knowing what the problem is before the person says it, but they still have to explain it. You're like, I know how to fix your problem, but they're like, no, but let me finish what I was saying, though.
Right. So, I would probably pick My Hero.
So, for me, I thought long and hard about this question. And now with the amount of anime that I've watched, I can definitely say I will pick the Kiznaiver universe because it's very easy going. The whole of Kiznaiver just happens on an island. So, the rest of the world is just the world. So, the possible low point is I'm on this island and now I have to share my feelings with other people and be vulnerable. That's terrible. That's a pretty low. I don't do that vulnerability nonsense.
I feel like this might be a spoiler question, so don't answer it, but I wonder if you have to stay on the island though. You know what I mean? The fact that you just said, but you're on an island and you have to share your feelings. If after I share my feelings, so I get to go back to, town. Actually, you can answer that. But,
no.
Yeah.
You said what I'm not going to do
So,
is...
the whole thing about the Kiznaiver is, it's timed. They haven't perfected the thing. They're trying to perfect it. So, it's timed. So, the max, I think, was 3 months you could be connected with these people, and then it's gone. And then you're fine. And you're just a person again. Easy. You don't know nothing about no other people's feelings. That's it. You don't have to feel other people's pain. That's it. It's pretty great. And then what is the second low?
Sounds kind of boring though.
It's good if you like emotions.
I mean, it's high risk, low reward kind of thing is apparently what you're saying.
The other bad thing is the whole people running this project are the upper echelon of the world that are trying to fix the world. What if I'm in this universe and I'm just a broke boy? Cardi B had some sayings about broke boys. So
they only really apply to you because once you're married, it don't matter. You're gonna be broke. If it's up, then it's up. I don't know what you want to say.
If it's up, yep. It's up. That's it. Next question. Easy.
I was I don't think I'm going to put any 2 cents into that because my 2 cents wouldn't be good either.
It's not good. It's not a good 2 cents. It's just 2 pennies rubbed together. I don't know what you want me to say after that.
Are we on question 12?
We are on question 12.
All right, let me stretch.
Ooh, right?
Let me stretch.
Question 12.
All right, I want to allocate not that much time to this, but it's impossible.
Okay.
This is our last big question before the final question.
Right, exactly. has the comic industry touched on the current epidemic of police-involved shootings as they did with 9/11? If not, does it amplify the deficits and diversity within the industry? Should they, as an industry, speak on it if in a room of creators? Should they speak on it if in a room of creators where only a fraction are black or of color?
Heavy question.
Yes. This is what I said. I said I wouldn't know for sure, and this is because I don't read comic books that heavily. Right. I wouldn't know for sure, but I would have to guess a big no. And the question of the second part of, like, if not, does it amplify the deficits within the diversity in the industry, and should they as an industry speak on it? What was that? This is 12, right? So not to mention, this is a big question of allyship or pandering, not to mention changing the landscape behind those closed doors and the writing rooms. Like, this is a big question of, like, if they speak on it and they speak on these the police shootings, it's a very touchy subject and a very touchy landscape to navigate through, where if you speak on it, who's speaking on it, what are they really trying to say, how does this affect the character, how does this affect the character's universe, how long spread is this issue for them? Because where if it's written in a Black Lightning comic book, and we pretty much know that he's probably going to experience that a lot, even if it's written in a John Stewart comic book, he'll witness it every time he comes back to Earth, but he's also a space cop, so he don't gotta be here all the time. And then even further, I don't think I've ever seen it talked about in, like, Batman's. Like, like it's I have never seen it talked about Batman in Batman's comic books or anything like that. So it's like, there's a lot of layers to that question. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Go ahead, Sterling. I'm
definitely going to default to Big Dan here as the comic book aficionado for if it's being addressed. But when we have an issue such as this, it's an issue such as the sheer amount of black people dying from altercations with police, and then the amount of people of color who are dying from altercations from police. This is a line in the sand. So companies who rely on various people buying their products from various walks of life, if you draw a line in the sand, you're going to be on one side or the other. Bottom line. So I think, as a black person, as a black man living in Philadelphia, I would want to see the giants of DC, of Marvel, saying, like, this is wrong through whatever comic that they do it through. This is wrong. This should not be happening. And that's the bottom line. Have I seen that? I default to Big Dan on that. But I want to see that. But it is a question of, is this genuine or is this pandering? To just tell you, like, hey, just so you know, we're on the right side of history. Keep buying our product. Like, or are they saying, like, this is wrong? People are dying. 13-year-old children are dying. Go ahead, Big Dan. Go ahead.
No. I feel it. The short answer is yes. It's been done. Like I said, this is probably the heaviest question we've had asked from us. But if you need a exact point of reference, this has been definitely depicted and discussed in Nighthawk, when Nighthawk is black, from Squadron Supreme. He goes back to Chicago and deals with racist cops, and physically fights them because he one is superpowered, and so therefore can, it doesn't cost him the same. When Captain America was black, and this was the Falcon as Captain America, what they did was in that storyline made like RoboCops, like they were almost like super cops, or the correct name for them was AmeriCops. So they were like half robot, half like some were white people in the armor, others were just like straight up robots. And what happened was they did a disproportionate like arrest. The rates were going up in like black neighborhoods. They were just targeting black folks or marginalized demographics. And obviously Falcon fights them because he's Captain America, and he's like, the reality is that this is his America. It got to the point where I would say street level superhero named Rage, who's a younger black superhero, if you're familiar with the character, gets brutalized, like beat up to the point that if anyone else had gotten beat up to that level would have died. But he's super powered, so he survives, but nonetheless gets arrested. But he's also on the side of protests. So they thought, it makes it sound like there's a side to being on a side, and so Captain America obviously can't be a part of the protest. At the same time, he, Rage as a character, which obviously speaks to like the black rage in America, is like, you're supposed to be in the trenches with us. And, it's a whole story about responsibility versus, representation. So I've seen it enough. Yeah. But he was also trying to preserve the fact that he got picked to be Captain America, right? Because no black person in America feels, and I would say no black person, but then there's Candace Owens, and there's other people. And I'm not trying to make light of this, but at the same time, like, we all are expected to have a side in this. And so Marvel's done it, and I don't think they've done it in a way that's been bad. At the same time, there's only a specific amount of readers that can relate to it. You can say it's wrong, and I think on a deeper level, most people know it's wrong. Police brutality in general, but it don't have the same effect, right? Like, these cops will lose their jobs if it happens to a white person. Most times, these cops will either relocate or get reassigned if this is on a white person's dime. That's why you see Dylan Roof very much alive. So they handle it differently because they know the world's watching. And then they handle it different for a black person because they don't care if the world's watching. And so is it the responsibility of the comic book industry to do it or talk about it? Yes, but at the same time, I think it's the responsibility of the world to not use this form of escapism to address a very real issue. Like, I don't need to see it. I don't need to see it in a movie for me to be like, wake up, folks. Yeah, because then you're like, oh, that's fiction, or it's an adaptation.
It's not.
That's why when we talked about Judas and the Black Messiah, it's still this sense of a gap of whether it be time or the medium that says this does not apply, whether it still be history or not. You're just like, oh, it was too long ago for me to feel responsible. And that's why my comic books are a form of escapism, so I don't really care if you ground me in reality, because I'm very much aware of what's going on. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I wanted you to finish. I was gonna say, I just also wonder if, like, because even in talking about this, like, it's crazy that I think all of our automatic instinct was like, oh, where we would see it at is in Jon Stewart, Black Lightning, Static Shock, all the black. But like I said, you would never see Batman fighting cops who for better or for worse, you would never see Batman fighting cops. Oh, this is probably the worst thing I've ever said about Batman.
I'm waiting for you to say it because I'm like, if you don't say it, I know where you live. Like that's it. I'm just like, I know what side you on now.
You would never see Batman fighting cops who shot a black person, an unarmed black person, right? Like that wouldn't be like his. Let the other cops finish that. I'm gonna go and take care of the Joker, but not take care of the Joker because I'm anywho. But it's so crazy that even in those situations, the only place that we would see it in is in specifically black characters. Which, like I said at the beginning of this whole thing, of course you would see it there because if you didn't. Yeah. That's the furthest version of. That's as far as fiction as we can get.
Now, I will to quantify my statement really quick. I will say that one, this was written by a white author, right? So Nick Spencer,
what was
the Falcon storyline was written by Nick Spencer, and so what he did with Captain America's story in general was very much grounded in the reality that one, neo-Nazis exist. White supremacy exists, and he did tell stories that also shed light on those issues. And then I can never pronounce his name correctly. Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Almost right. I know.
Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's writing Captain America at the moment, which not a big fan, but he is very much still grounding it in reality. There's a lot of almost QAnon stuff that's written. Red Skull is currently speaking through the waves of QAnon and the interwebs and using that to incite hatred. But for the black story, you only can tell that from a black perspective. Because if you tell that from a white perspective, you still tell it wrong. So that's why we will get only the Jon Stewarts, or we will only get Falcon experiencing these things, because who else gets to experience it the way no one else can live the American experience the way that a black person can.
I agree. What I'm saying is that because of that, we never get a white ally writing what Superman would do as a. Okay, maybe that's wrong because he's white.
There's been moments, but right. But there's moments that Superman has stepped in on racism because we've made complaints about it. But it does. I don't think it matters. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And that's what I'm agreeing with. It doesn't matter. Yeah. There's no. It's not like a huge thing to anybody, but maybe a few three black guys. On a podcast in Philly. You know what I mean? It's right. Never a big enough story or a big enough arc where it's no, everybody needs to pay attention to this because it's real. Because that's too small time for Superman. You can't. Who cares?
But
Superman.
If you do that with anything, but that's the problem, right? When you do it with anything, unfortunately, the fans, comic book fans or nerd fans in general. Are very borderline. We have normal folks who are very much nerd fans. But they can also be that incel QAnon, heavy breathing from my gaming chair people. And so, what tends to happen with those people is oh, I got social justice in my Wheaties, and then it's then they're triggered and unfortunately, they're the people who are buying these things, so you can't exclude them. And you can say, well, I don't want racist people buying my comic books. You don't care. You need to feed your family. You don't care that much, because if that was the case, you wouldn't write for money. You would take the price tag off of your comic books, or the comic books would still be 25 cents. So you don't care that much about who's buying them. But at the same time, you also know that you can't lose that money. That's why comic books get canceled left and right, because you're the Falcon comic book got canceled. Regardless of the social issues it was talking about, Still got canceled. Why? Because it's not making money. So,
and I think that comes back to the point of of the rooms where there is a lack of black creators or writers in the room.
We just gotta write our own stories, man.
That's literally what I was gonna say. Like that goes back to like we said that to, I think that was with Past the Vice podcast. Yeah, where it's just like the future of the culture. It's just like creating your own, owning your own, and building that story out yourselves, so that hopefully we can get to a point where we don't like. What sucks is that it is always going to be. The racist thing is always going to be an episode, a arc, a comic book, like, volume. Like it's going to happen, but hopefully there can be so much more story told outside of that. That's what I'm hoping for, and then hopefully maybe in my grandkids we gotta live long. We gotta live long enough to be able to tell our stories.
Yeah,
that's the problem. We don't live long enough to tell our stories.
You're getting back into black trauma. I'm saying hopefully.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like we can't get past the
grandkids come in. They can have
them too. I would love for everyone to be able to, but I would love for everybody to be supported and seen in their stories. The problem is we don't get to live that long.
Yeah.
Like so guys, by the time we can get past trauma, we have to celebrate the fact that we are living in the now. And so you can't tell those stories, because by the time you tell those stories, someone else is already experiencing trauma. Like we couldn't even get out of 2020. We couldn't even let the George Floyd case be over with before another one starts.
Yeah. Who knows what Dante Wright would have wrote.
Exactly. And who knows what his story would have been. And then you also see these other things where, all right, so you can't be black, but then what if you're black and a cop? Can't be black and a cop because your own cops will beat you up.
You can't be black and a soldier.
You can't be black. That's what I'm saying. The thing that, remember, in Colin Kaepernick kneeled and everyone was like, that's disrespectful to the army. Then you go join the army thinking that these same white people who have these Blue Lives Matters, All Lives Matter stuff going on, then you see them, they pull you over quickly for your safety, and they're pulling guns on you, pepper spraying you immediately for tags that they could see, but because the fact that you didn't do it the way they wanted you to do it, in the dark, on the side of the road, you pulled into a gas station so they could see you, because we all know we don't show up in the dark. And then what? You still get pepper sprayed. So there's no right way of doing anything that meets the standard of police brutality. You could have your hands in the air with your back turned, or in the front, or be sleeping, or doing the right thing, helping somebody else, and cops still shoot you. So I don't care anymore about where the line is, or if those stories are being told in comic books, or in anime, or in TV shows.
Unfortunately, it's safe to assume that it's not.
Yeah, and just assume that it's not.
It won't be until we start turning them. Go ahead, Sterling.
Yeah, this is amazing. There's a lot to say in all of this. This is 3 episodes.
But question 15.
Episodes.
What will season 3 bring for the Blerd Bar?
Yes.
Season 3. This is our last question.
Sterling, this is the last question. So talk to us, Sterling. Season 3.
Season 3. We are getting more merch as soon as this video gets 150 likes. We can get that. Get the Blerd Bar host faces on some hoodies. Okay, we're getting more merch. We're getting the separation of booze, news, and reviews and the actual podcast, so we can tackle these big issues with a little bit more runtime, but we're not talking you're off for 7 hours,
Yes.
And
we think that you would appreciate that.
We do this for you. That
was definitely for you guys.
Yeah, that was for the fans, because we don't care. We know where the timestamp starts.
We'll run it, but yeah, this is for you guys.
And what else are we seeing from season 3? More guests.
Guests.
If you think you got something to say, let me know. Okay.
Yes, please reach out to our HR personnel. Contact person is Sterling.
Hi.
But you can send an email, obviously, to theblerdbar@gmail.com.
I think it's the 4th time we've said that. But yeah, that's all I got. What else we got? Seeing as the last question of the season, last 10 minutes of the season.
What will season 3 bring for the Blerd Bar? I think that pretty much covers it of what we want to say and just let the other stuff be revealed. You know?
Yeah. we got stuff in the works. You're gonna see the Blerd Bar. Hopefully, see the Blerd Bar name pop up other places with other folks. Definitely more collabs.
More collabs.
We're hammering some stuff out and trying to hammer some stuff out, and that's why this break is going to be a legit, like, we're taking a summertime break kind of thing. You will still get booze, news, and reviews. We definitely want to do that, give that to you like every other week. And then starting sometime in the fall, we'll let you know when that happens.
Keep an eye out for happy hour. We're doing that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Whether that be a stream of us gaming or taking questions, going live, we want to be deeply involved in this community, and so the only way to do that, obviously, for most people, is to not wait till they're standing still. So got to keep it moving because they keep it moving. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Without further ado, thank you guys for listening. Coming to the Blerd Bar. This is the last call for alcohol for this season. The Blerd Bar is closing. Yeah. Big Dan, please tell the people what are we getting? What
are we getting for XP?
Did we level up yet? Or are we leveling up in season 4?
I feel like, I mean, no. You definitely leveled up. This is the end of season 2. You got skill points with this one. Obviously, all of the stuff you've earned from this season is now legendary quality because you won't get it again. So this is one of a kind. If you try to upgrade it, it will break and will be invaluable to you. So I'm gonna give out 3 skill points with this level up.
Ooh.
So use them how you will. Hopefully it's in a social and conscious way. Love the other people around you because you don't have time to waste, people.
Always remember, though, Trooper's gonna troop and fuck Rachel Donazal.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop with that.
Wait, I said Donazal. I'm sorry, Rachel Dolezal. There might be a Rachel Donazal if she might get offended. I'm sorry.
And that's not her. Rachel Donazal should not be the recipient of your wrath.
Good night, everybody. Good night.